Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar. Our Launch and Learn series webinar hosted by the Northern Ontario Black Empowerment Economic Empowerment Programme, NOBEEP. Bonjour à tous et à toutes et bienvenue au webinaire d'aujourd'hui de notre série Launch and Learn, présenté par le programme d'appui aux entrepreneurs noirs du nord de l'Ontario. Today's presentation will be delivered in English. Before we continue, I'd like to let you know that this webinar is being recorded. Replay will be available as soon as possible. And we will also share the slides and also a survey so that you can let us know how we did with the we are doing with our webinars. It's just a few housekeeping reminders. Please keep your microphone muted and throughout all the presentation. And if you have any question, feel free to submit them in the chat box at any time, and the question will be answered at the end of the presentation, as time permits. Before we begin, I would like to acknowledge that NOBEEP is headquartered in the city of Greater Sudbury and respectfully recognizes that we operate on the traditional land of the Atikomechen Anishinaabeg and the Wanapite First Nation within the Robinson-Huron Treaty of 1850 territory. We recognize these territories is traditional home of the Anishinaabe people who have been the guardian and stewards of these lands since time immemorial. We also acknowledge that the lands on which we live and work across Canada are the traditional territories of First Nations, Inuit, Métis people. We honor the enduring connection to these lands and waters and pay our respects to the elders past, present, and emerging. As we work to create opportunities and strengthen Black entrepreneurship across Northern Ontario, we are committed to the spirit of reconciliation and to build meaningful, respectful partnership with Indigenous communities. For those who missed our previous webinar, Business Etiquette for Entrepreneurs, the replay will be is available on our website on YouTube. I will post it in the chat box. Today's Lunch and Learn beyond the storefront, building customer trust and system that scales, focuses on practical strategies entrepreneur can use to strengthen both the customer-facing and operational side of the business. I'll now have the pleasure to introduce Chamirai, who is going to do the presentation. Chamirai, the mic is yours.
All right. Thank you very much, Karen, and thank you everybody for joining our webinar. Really appreciate you being a part of this conversation. Over the last couple of years, I've visited many Black entrepreneur establishments, be they stores, restaurants, or places where they do retail for clothes. And also, I've come across many Black entrepreneurs who have stands at events like Afrofest, where you have your storefront being your stand at some of these events, and also in other parts of the north, including entrepreneurs showcasing their products and services in North Bay, in Timmins, and other areas as well. And I've come to realize that there is a conversation we should have about your storefront and how that looks. And then I've also had an opportunity to peek into the back offices of some of your businesses, some of our client businesses, and they've also seen that there is room for improvement in the back office of your businesses. And your back office and your front office together can really make for excellent customer service because both of those things work together in a very cohesive way. As Karen said, this is the second webinar in our Entrepreneur Success series. You can find the first one we did on business etiquette on our website, and Karen will provide you the link for that. Please do follow along. These conversations are really honest conversations about the reality of business and hopefully giving you some tools that can enable you to become stronger in how you service your clients moving forward. Okay, so let's jump into it. So a couple of learning objectives. It's about 5 learning objectives in total. At the end of this session, you're going to be able to create a more welcoming storefront for your clients and customers. Look, whether your storefront is virtual or physical, the same lessons apply as well. You'll be able to deliver better customer experiences because customers remember how you made them feel, etc. And we'll talk about that in more detail. And then we'll talk about how to strengthen your back office because you'll see that a strong back office will lead to a successful engagement with clients when you do meet with them. And then we'll move to talk about growth through customer retention. One of the things I was mentioning in here is the whole idea around how it is way less expensive to keep an existing customer than to obviously find new ones. And then we'll talk about some strategies for you to build a business that scales, that grows. At the end of the day, you know what, we really want to make sure that your businesses are growing. So just to summarize, 5 learning objectives for today, and you can see them on the screen here. You will get these notes, the slides at the end of the presentation, so don't feel like you must write everything down that you're hearing, etc., to improve how you're doing your business. All right, so let's jump into it. Your business is always speaking. So look, before you even say a word, your business is already sending a message to the client, the customer who's coming to it. You can see on the screen here, there's a contrast between a business that says we don't care and one that says, yes, we care. You will notice that the message we care can be seen clearly in how the business storefront is organized and how it's laid out. Couple of things that customers always notice is this: is the business clean? So when a customer walks in, and in fact, all of us are customers. So even when you as a customer go into any business, you're going to have these same observations. Is it clean? How's the lighting? Does it look too dark? Are there any lights that are burnt out that have not been replaced? How does it smell? How's the ambience? Those are really super important points. Friendly welcome. When you walk through the door, how did you feel about your being received? And also on the windows, I've noticed some businesses where on the windows there's still a poster from a while back that's expired, or posters that are torn that are on the walls. So be very careful about some of the little things. And then organization. How is everything placed? And how's the atmosphere, right? How is the feng shui of the area, right? Does it look like it's been thought out in terms of how it's placed? This is all about paying attention to details. How are you doing in these areas? Your storefront is having a conversation with every customer before you even say hello. This is such an important point for you to recognize. Next, I want to talk about creating an experience that customers can remember. People may forget what you said. It's a popular quotation, but they'll remember how your business made them feel. They'll remember how you made them feel. So when someone walks through the door, is there a warm greeting? Do they feel respected? Friendly conversation. Look, I've been in some businesses where I've questioned whether or not I was welcome or being respected. Is the environment clean, dusty, things on the ground that have been there for many days that should be picked up and put away? Pleasant atmosphere, and also a memorable experience. These are some of the things that people are paying attention to. But I want to touch on something. Customers remember. They remember what? How they were greeted, how they felt, how clean the business was, how easy is it to shop in your business. It becomes really super important. And whether or not their time was respected. I had an experience in Toronto where I walked into a business where I stood around for almost 5 minutes without anybody coming to serve me, even though I was standing right in front of the counter and the business wasn't that busy. So customers remember whether they would recommend you. Always remember that your existing customers are the best source of recommendations. And we'll talk about this in a little bit as well, so you can see where I'm going with that. So you have to create great experiences for your customers so that you build that trust, you get a repeat business, you get those referrals, and then you get the positive news. And then what happens next? Your business grows. Now, we've spoken a little bit about what happens at the front of the office, right? Now let's move over to the back of the office. Let's go behind the counter. So the back counter, the back office, what customers don't see is what makes your business work. This morning, Karen and I were having a conversation about this very topic, and we're talking about how there's so many things that we do at NOBEEP that no one sees. in the background, right? And people sort of see us in the front when we show up in public spaces, but really there's a lot of things happening in the back. And I can guarantee you that with all of your businesses, people may see you with a product, but they don't see everything that happens in the back. Customers see the front office, customers don't see the back office. In your back office is where you're processing orders, where that inventory is being managed, where the customers are being interacted with, and the feedback processes are happening in that background. And also, in the back of the office is where you're doing your books, where you're managing, where your finance are coming in, or how the money is going out. Another important piece about your back end, your back office, is that's where your systems and processes are. That's where your standard operating procedures or SOPs, all of those are in the back office. And I would recommend you have checklists and workflows on how you do business, how you take a customer from when they knock on the door to when they leave your business, how you take a customer from when they email you to when you actually service them. Team management becomes very important when you're hiring people to work with you in your business. Again, all of this is happening behind the counter. Training people is important, making sure that they're motivated is important, and ensuring that the workers understand their levels of accountability. Compliance and records keeping is super important. Some of your businesses are using equipment that needs to be certified under the right standards. Some of you have got businesses that have to comply with health regulations. These are some of the things you have to comply. Is the food warm enough? Is it fresh enough? Is it expired? All these things matter. And another thing about compliance and records is that you have to make sure that you're consistent with Revenue Canada's requirements for things like payroll deductions. You know, we've had some experience with some of these things ourselves. HST, GST type submissions and reporting to the government of Canada. Filing your annual reports becomes important. And all these things matter because your back office can have that evidence that you need when you go into the future and look for things like funding. So, without a strong back office, even a great storefront will struggle to survive. And this morning, I was just joking with Karen, and we were saying that, we can all look very nice. We can put on our nice clothes, do our hair nicely, maybe even put some makeup on and really look really, really good. But if in the back of everything is a bad attitude, that'll show up. So let's make sure our businesses don't just look good from the outside, but they actually look good on the inside where things are happening. Excellence behind the counter creates confidence in front of the customer. You'll find that businesses with strong back end, with a strong back office, when they're standing before the customer, their confidence is so high that they're easily able to defend who they are and what they do. So your back office is the engine that drives your business, right? Again, I want to reiterate your organized processes, that accuracy of information, the things, healthy finances, having a strong team, all of these things reduce the risk of your back office not being able to support what's happening at the front of your office. So a strong back office helps you serve customers better and faster. If your processes are very clear on how you service customers, when one comes in, it's like clockwork. Bang, 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 they're out the door, serviced, and they're happy. A strong back office makes you also be able to make informed decisions about your business, improving profitability of your business. You can streamline operations and get things moving in a very structured way. And also it helps you to stay compliant and protect your business. By doing all these things, you can then build a business that can grow. When your back office is strong, the front of the house will shine, right? So back office strong, front of the house shines, front of the business shines, right? That's really important. So as I said earlier on, people may see you and say, wow, you look good, everything's good. Yes, you may be the face of the business, but the foundation of your business is the back office. That's where the business actually happens. Strong foundation, strong business, very strong future for you. Earlier on, I mentioned that it's easier to keep a customer than to find a new one. So retention, keeping customers is less expensive. Loyalty for your customers to your business is more valuable. And then relationships then can then build wealth and outcome of that. So keeping a customer, here's some statistics for you. It's up to 5 times less expensive to keep a customer than to get a new customer. By keeping existing customers, here's what you're doing. You're lowering your marketing costs. You're able to serve them faster because they know your business. They know how to get served by you. You can serve them faster. They create stronger trust. more repeat purchases happen, and you get more referral business by those existing customers. Now, let's contrast acquiring a new customer. And look, there's nothing wrong with getting new customers, but by losing customers, here's what happens. Up to 5 times more expensive than retaining an existing one. New customer acquisition equals higher advertising costs. It takes more time. There's more uncertain outcomes because you don't really know the customer just yet. And then also lower first time spending. You'll see that repeat customers spend more and more as time moves forward, and also requires more nurturing. You have to sort of really take care of those new customers in a really special way to get them to be retained. So another thing I want to show you here is just a graph that shows you what can happen when you've got loyal customers that can help you drive that long-term growth. So profits can go up when you've got repeat customers working with you. If you just have a customer that comes once to your business, kind of flatlines your profits. So a small investment in customer retention can increase your profits, increase lifetime value of that client, build loyalty and advocacy, and create sustainable business. Your best customers, your best customers are already in your database. Take care of them today, and they'll take care of you tomorrow. Next, I want to talk to you about excellence being that bridge between today and tomorrow. So excellence in what? Excellence in how you manage your back office, how you manage your storefront becomes important. Today, your business may be overwhelming you. You may be very reactive to customer needs or inconsistent in processes. You may be losing time and money because of unable to fulfill things on time. You may be having customer complaints. And again, customer complaints, the good and the bad, take them all in because they're important for your business. And your business may be stalled in growth. You may not be seeing that growth coming in. So operational excellence becomes that bridge that bridges that divide between where you are today and where you want to be tomorrow. So operational excellence is going to result in strong systems, quality processes, happy customers, and obviously an engaged team. So where do you want to be? You want to be in a place where you can sustain growth for your business, stronger customer loyalty, greater profitability, a higher performing team, and also being able to take advantage of new opportunities and partnerships as they go. Small improvements in your systems today can create major breakthroughs in your business for tomorrow. So be on this continual improvement mindset where you're making changes every single day to your business. And I will talk a little bit more about that, what you can do every day to make sure your business is moving forward in a meaningful way. So I've almost got about 2 more slides to go. So now what I do is I want to give you 10 things that you can check every morning before you open a business, especially those of you who have got storefronts where customers are coming to see you. So are the windows clean? Right? Make sure windows are clean, not dusty, no streaks from last week and the week before. Make sure the entrance of your business is inviting. Make sure there's no debris stopping customers from coming to your business. Make sure your entrance is welcoming. Make sure the lights are working. Make sure it's not dark in the business. And also the floors. If you get repeat customers and they can see dirt from yesterday and the next day still where they saw it the day before, it's not good for your business. Make sure that your staff are ready. Is your team prepared, professional, and positive? I want to stop for a moment and share with you a quick story. Just last week, I was in Toronto and I had went to a business that was scheduled to open at 10 a.m. I arrived at this business at 10 a.m. The owner of the business arrived at 10:05. I was there before the owner of the business, so make sure you're ready for customers when you say you're going to be ready. Inventory, number 6, make sure your inventory is stocked up. Don't run out of supplies that can make you money. Make sure your machine to receive the money, your debit machine, your point of sale machine is working, and also washrooms. If I was with you right now, I would ask you to show me by show of hands. How many of you have gone to a business where the washroom was really bad? Really bad. You don't want to be the business with the bad looking washroom. So if anything, make sure your washroom is pristine. Ambience ready. Make sure you're playing music in the background if need be, and that your temperature is right. It's not too cold in the business. It's not, and the music is just at the right volume. And try not to play things that are offensive. Try and play neutral music that you can hear in the big box stores. The last thing I want to suggest for you is this: offer something for free, whether it be coffee, water, or something. Make people feel that they're being cared for. So great businesses don't just happen. They're prepared every single day. Now, to close, I've got 5 questions that I want you to ask yourself, because great businesses are built on honest reflection and continuous improvement. So the 5 things I want you to ask yourself is this: whether it be a website business, virtual business, or physical business, would I shop here? Would you shop at this business if you were a customer? Experience your business through the eyes of your customer. Try and walk in your customer's shoes. Number 2, would you recommend this business to someone else? Would you proudly tell others about your experience? Number 3, would I hire this business? If your business is a cleaning business or doing something that is hands-on with customers, would you hire this business? Does this business demonstrate professionalism, reliability, and trust? Number 4, would I proudly show a customer my back office? And in preparing for this presentation, I was talking to Gina and Karen, and we're talking about how in some restaurants you can actually see the kitchen from where you're sitting. It's like behind a glass. You can see the kitchen working, right? Is your back office organized, efficient? Is this something you're proud of, or are you just dreading the day a customer says, "Show me your back office"? Number 5, what one thing can you improve this week? Small improvements repeated daily will produce big results. Small improvements today create major breakthroughs for tomorrow. So, honest questions will lead to stronger decisions and better results. So don't be afraid to ask yourself these hard questions about your front office and your back office, because I can tell you this: the prosperity that you can create within your business is going to be dependent on how your back office and front office are speaking together. Okay, so that brings me to the end of the presentation, and I would like to just hand it back to Karen and also maybe to you, the audience, to ask any questions you have. We've got about 8 minutes to go for questions. Thank you for your time. I appreciate it.
Okay. Thank you, Chamirai, for the presentation. And it's time now. It's time for the Q&A. If you have any question, you can raise your hands, or you can put it in the chat box.
Just looking at the chat box.
Yeah, nothing yet.
Okay. Maybe what I can do is while we're waiting for someone to unmute themselves and ask a question, I just want to really emphasize to everybody on the call today that, as we are servicing people in the community who are from a different background than us, Black people, a different background than Black people, or different background than your country of origin. Maybe you're servicing people from Zimbabwe, or people from Nigeria, or from the Congo, or from Cote d'Ivoire, from Cameroon. People from our home countries tend to be more lenient when it comes to how your business presents itself. But I will tell you something about Canadians, generally speaking. Canadians expect exceptional customer service. And I think maybe part of it is because we become spoiled, as Canadians. We've got Tim Hortons, we've got McDonald's, we've got all these places where we get this really super customer service. Even at McDonald's, if they make something you don't like how they made it, they just replace it with another one, right? Whereas, with some of our businesses, be like, wow, I'm not giving it back to you. So we can have a different attitude about how we treat customers. And I think what we need to do is make sure that we are not trying to impose the standards of businesses in other places to the standards in Canada. That's why it becomes very important for you to be able to, modify how you service your customers in the Canadian context, and also, how your business looks becomes that much more important, because, like I said, here in Canada, the expectation of the quality of service that someone gets from a business is at a very different level. I even remember, I was in Zimbabwe a couple of years ago, and I remember being at a restaurant, and the service was, I wouldn't say it was rude, but it was just very, very, very specific, in everything that I was being said to me by the people in the restaurant. And if you look at it from the context of if they were speaking to me in Shona, for example, it may have been a little bit different. So again, I want to emphasize to everybody on the call that, having your excellence in customer service and how your business looks becomes very, very, very important. And again, I want to touch on that whole back office piece again. The one way for you to really know if your business is ready for growth is if you're open to saying to anybody, yeah, come and look at how we do our business in the back. Some of the businesses I visited in this town manufacture equipment. Some of them, they have all the safety standards being followed strictly. There's nothing that you can trip over in the back. All the machines are cleaned and maintained in a really good way. This is the level of standard that you need to have for your business. So that if anybody ever questions you on how you're making your product or service, you'll be able to defend that right away. We've got 4 minutes to go, and I'm going to just pause for a moment and see if there's anybody with a question.
Okay, let's see. Yeah, so very correct. Customer service.
Oh, yes, there's a question in the chat. Karen, I can just read it. I'll read the question.
Okay.
The question is, do you have pointers on how you can handle customer reviews that might be rude? Well,
Okay.
look, if the customer is angry because of your service and they are trying to express themselves, and then you receive that customer's feedback as they're being rude, part of that is really your own fault for not being receptive to the feedback. Now, look, I'm not saying that there's not any rude customers out there. They very well could be. But I think as a business owner, any feedback you get from customers is feedback that you should consider seriously, because that customer's experience, it can translate into the customer telling 10 more people about it, right? And I think you need to sort of think about the lifetime value of a customer, so that you don't end up making a decision that cripples your business because that customer went off and spread bad news about you, or you never fixed the thing that the customer pointed out as a point of stress. Again, dealing with difficult people, we all have to do it every single day, or hopefully not every single day. But certainly, you know what, when customers are not being very friendly, as a business owner, you need to have the listening ear, listen carefully, ask questions.
There's one question from Janet. She's asking, when doing a fair, what will you recommend in terms of presenting yourself?
No, thank you for that question. So let's just say you're going to be presenting your goods and services at the upcoming AfroFest that's taking place soon. Maybe Karen, let me know what day that AfroFest is. 20-something of August, I think.
The 21st and 22nd.
21st. Yeah, let's say you're going to be presenting at AfroFest 21st and 22nd of August at the Sudbury Arena at the Ramsey Lake. So make sure that you don't appear to be unorganized to the people who will be coming to your stand. Don't arrive late. Don't be the person setting up their booth when customers are already walking past. Make sure that your product is packaged in a very clean way. Maybe have containers to really put things in order, and also make sure that you yourself, are looking in a way that is inviting. Say hello to people, ask them for their name, try and connect with the customer as much as you can. And I would also say, bring a notebook, take some notes, take people's names and email addresses and let them know you can get back to them as much as possible. And also, what I would recommend for you is bring something to the fair that maybe is a bit of a giveaway, or when you go to Costco and you're walking around and they're giving all this food to taste the food, to try the food out, try and do something similar with your fair so that people can get more interested in what you're talking about. Give them something away for free. But I would strongly recommend, that you be prepared ahead of time, and also show up, ready for the weather. It may rain, it might not rain, so come ready for that as well. And then I think you'd be able to have a successful fair as well. And one thing I want to say is signage. Put a good signage around your fair. Try not to print too small print. Try and print something that's a little bit bigger so people can see exactly what it is that you're doing. We've got about 1 more minute left. Are there any other questions, Karen, in the chat or otherwise?
I don't see any question. Yeah.
Awesome. All right. Well, folks, we are committed to keeping time, and I am going to urge everyone on the call, please, let's convict everyone that we got to do things on time in a timely manner. So on that note, Karen, I would like to ask you to stop recording, and everybody have a wonderful day and be blessed.
Okay. Thank you, everyone. And before I stop the recording, I would like to thank you for participating to the webinar, and I wish you a very good afternoon. And the replay will be shared with you as soon as it's ready, and along with the slides and the survey, if you can let us know what you think about the webinars and what you want us to present for you. Thank you again, and I wish you a good afternoon. Thank you.
Thank you so much. God bless. Bye.
Thank you. You're most welcome.